All right, class, today we're looking at the interpreting cholesterol level activity. Our goal is to compare their cholesterol levels the cholesterol levels of 3 subjects over a 12-year period. So we're looking at the 48-year-old nurse, a 37-year-old baseball player who's toward the end of his career, and a 52-year-old stockbroker who's known for his energy and ability to eat donuts in a single bite. So we said that the first thing we wanted to do is set up our graph. So I have the camera actually kind of above my paper, so at the top of my paper. So I'm just going to show you how I'm going to set this up. And we said that we need to set up our axes. I couldn't find a ruler, so I'm just going to use this bookmark that I found. Okay, so I'm going to use the bookmark and I'm going to draw each of my axes, just leaving a bit of space so I have room to label. So let's see, I'll leave some space at the bottom. And I'm going to go over my x-axis. Okay, perfect. I'd go in pencil first, just in case you make a mistake and you want to go back over it. And then I'll draw my y-axis, so going up the side, I want to use the entire space I have. Okay, so mine doesn't actually fit completely into the screen at one time, but that's okay. So drawing my axes. All right, good. Now I have to count out my scale, so I'm going to get from 2005 to 2016. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, I've got plenty of space. So at the bottom, I'm going to write my label. So this is time. Okay, that's our year. And I'll start with 2005. So I'm actually just going to label and write sideways. So 2005 will be my first point, and I'm going to go every other, so just using the space that I have. So it's 2005. I'm going to bend this down, okay? So just bear with me for a second. All right, there we go. So 2005, 2006, 2007. Please do use a pencil just in case. I'm using a marker so you can see it, but then if I make a mistake, I can't erase it. So I'll try to be careful, but it's easy to make mistakes. And then my top here was 2016, so I still have 2015 and then 2016. Okay, perfect. So then I'm going back and I'm looking at my data again. So I'll be really zoomed in this time. Oof, there we go. I'm going to be graphing their total cholesterol levels in milligrams per deciliter. Okay, this actually should be a little capital L, so milligrams per deciliter. But the numbers are actually quite big. So if I'm looking for my lowest number, okay, lowest number on the entire data set. Let's see, I see like a 167, and I just want to do a quick scan and see if I see anything under 167. So it looks like this might be my lowest number, unless you see a lower one. And then I'm going to look for my highest number. So I see a 264. Let's see, this person's high is 202. This person gets to 252. This person gets all the way up at the bottom here to 275. So I want my graph to include 167 all the way up to 275. All right, but I don't actually want to start at 0, so I want to use the space that we get on the graph. So use the space valuably. So I'm not going to number from 1 to 275. That's too much. So I'm going to actually skip some of those numbers. And maybe I will start numbering. Maybe I could start at 160, and maybe I'll number 160 to 280. Okay, so let's just see. So I start here. I'm going to skip some numbers. All right, and then I will need to count how many boxes I have. So again, I'll try and zoom out to show the space that I have. All right, Got plenty of space on my paper there. It's even kind of curled up around the stand of this, around the camera. So let's just count. This will be my first line. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Okay, so I've got plenty of spaces. So I think I am just going to count. Right, so perfect. So I'm going to start at 160. I'm going to have to label my side there, but I'll do that in just a minute. I'll count out my scale first. And remember, if you write in pencil, if you make any mistakes, you can always go back and erase. So I'm technically really going to be counting by fives, so I could just write 165, but that's a lot of labeling, so if you want to, you can do that. So you can write 165 and then 170 and then keep counting by fives, right? 175, or you could start skipping and just go 180, 190, 200, 210, 220, 230, 240. Actually, I'm getting toward the top of my screen, but I have quite a bit more space, just so you know. So 260, 270, and because I moved my bookmark, but I can try and draw a little bit more up there. Oof, okay. And 280. Okay, and I said that's what I was going for. So if you want to fill them in, you can fill them in 185, 95, 205. But you don't really have to, as long as you're being careful about where you are labeling everything. 225, 235. So this just might be helpful to plot your points, because sometimes it's hard to keep that straight, but I'm fine with skipping and just labeling every other one. 275. So now I have to write my label on the side. So I'm going to rotate my paper. So this is going to be my total cholesterol. So that's my label for my y-axis, and that's in milligrams per deciliter. So I just want to mark my units there. Okay, done. So now it comes time for me to plot the points for my different people. Remember, you should be doing this in pencil, so if you make any mistakes, you can correct it, okay? But for me, I don't have too many dark colors. I have this lime green, so I might go with lime green. And I'm going to make first the dots for patient A. So I'm going to go through all of these first. So we've got 2005. So in 2005, I'm marking it at 189. So this will be the first point on my graph right there. And in 2006, I'm going to make a point at 184. So her cholesterol actually fell a little bit. 184. 2007. 192. So going back up a little bit there. Then we've got 2008 and we've got 198. 2009 at 202, so now her cholesterol is going up a bit. Well, that's kind of a big messy spot. And then 2010, I should be at, let's see, 178. 2010, 178, so falling again. Okay, 2011 is 169, so cholesterol is dropping. Then 2012 should be 172. Perfect. 2013 should be at 170. Okay. 2014 So this, you can see I'm moving it just to keep everything in line because otherwise I get confused and I don't want to make the points in the wrong spot. So I'm doing it this way. So 2014 is 171. So now just above this line. And then 2015, 168. And then 2016 is about 167. So 160. Oh, I made that one maybe a little bit. Oh, maybe that one's a bit low. Try and shift it a bit. Okay, so this is my first person. So once I've got their cholesterol level done, I'm actually going to draw a line. Okay, so just to show some of that change, I'm just going to connect the points for this graph. So make sure you connect the points for person A before you start making the dots for subject B, because otherwise you're going to get like super confused. So it'll just be a million dots everywhere. Okay. Again, I would just go in pencil first, because if you accidentally miss a spot, you want your graph to look nice and clean. But so that you can see it, I'm just going to marker. Okay, because normally I actually don't use marker unless I'm pretty sure that I'm making like my final copy. Okay, good enough. So this is my first person. So obviously I'm going to put the other two people on the same graph. Okay, so I'm just going to make a line for subject B and a different line for subject C. So that being the case, I'm probably going to need to make a key or a legend somewhere. So if I plan it out, I know up here I'm going to need to write a title, so something having to do with cholesterol, but I'll bet that I would still have some room somewhere like off in the corner, so maybe even at the bottom, I can make my little key or legend. Okay. So I can make my key down here, and I could say, all right, green line is going to be subject A, and then I need to pick a different color for subject B and then a different one for subject C, and I can put them on the same graph. So once we're done with that, it does ask us for the assignment to shade these zones of where there's good cholesterol, so the very low is good for total cholesterol. So if it's desirable, where it's borderline high risk, and where it is considered very high cholesterol. So to do that, I need to block off different sections of my graph. So we'll just look at the bottom part together. So look at 4. So good cholesterol is supposed to be shaded green, so I'd use a colored pencil, not your marker. But just so you get an idea, it's at 200 milligrams per deciliter or less. So I'm going to create that border. So I'll get my handy bookmark. And with my handy bookmark, I'm going to be shading everything under 200. So I might want to mark it just so I know. So I'm going to mark it in pencil this time. And then I don't have a colored pencil right now, and I just used my green marker. So instead, I'm just going to show you. So I'm just going to be shading with a green colored pencil. Okay, this zone. So not in your graphite, but in a colored pencil. Okay, and when you're done, actually, it should kind of look like the Bolivian flag, because it should be kind of like reddish or orange at the top, yellow, and then green at the bottom. So that's what it should look like, right? And then I might want to make a little note too, like this was considered the desirable zone, okay? And you could do that actually by writing in the zone or by adding those to your key as well. So you could expand your key over to the side, right? And that's fine. Okay, either way you want to do it. Can you even see that I shaded that? Let me zoom in here. See if I can get to focus a little bit. Okay, well, I was just trying to give you an idea. You'll do this, nice in colored pencil, but we're shading this zone of the graph, all right? I think you can kind of see it. Can you kind of see it? All right, I think so. So then you'll add your other two subjects to the graph, and then you're going to shade the other bars, okay? Best of luck.